S21, known today as Tool Slang, was once a place of laughter. It was a school. Children learned to read here. Teachers wrote lessons on chalkboards. Parents walked their children through its gates each morning, believing, as parents everywhere do and should, that education was a promise of safety and of future. That detail matters because genocide, the heavy topic of today, does not usually begin in distant or unfamiliar places. It begins in ordinary rooms, repurposed slowly, deliberately, until cruelty feels normal, procedural, and justified. You see, between 1975 and 1979, nearly 2 million people died in Cambodia. That number is difficult to understand, not because it is abstract, but because it's deeply personal. It represents neighbors, families, monks, musicians, farmers, doctors, teachers, and children. It represents nearly a quarter of an entire nation erased in less than 4 years. S21 was not a labor camp. It was not a prison designed for reform. It was a machine built to extract confessions, to break bodies and minds, and to send its prisoners to death.
Your name is?
Nong Chanli.
And
Nong Chanli.
Nong Chanli.
6 years old.
6 years old.
Yeah, brother Nong Chanpal, 9 years old.
9 years old.
Yeah, the brother Nong Chanpal. His story.
Wow. Thank you so much, and I hope your life is better now.
Thank you.
Of the more than 14,000 people documented as entering S21, fewer than a dozen survived. To understand how this happened, we must understand not only Pol Pot, but the forces that shaped him, the ideologies that empowered him, and the failures of the world that allowed him to rule unchecked. Cambodia's tragedy did not begin in 1975. It was actually decades in the making. Under French colonial rule, which began in the 19th century, Cambodia was treated less as a living nation and more as a sort of cultural artifact. The French preserved the temples of Angkor, but they neglected the people who lived among them. Education was limited to only the elites. Political participation was discouraged. Institutions that might have supported democratic growth were never allowed to fully form. When Cambodia gained independence in 1953, it inherited borders without stability and a government without strong foundations. Pol Pot was born in Salot Sar in 1925. He was not born into desperation. He came from a relatively comfortable rural family. He received an education, something that most Cambodians at the time did not. And in the late 1940s, he was sent to Paris to study. There he encountered radical Marxist ideology, particularly its most extreme interpretations. In post-war France, communism was romanticized by some as a force of moral purity, anti-imperialism, and total equality, but stripped of compassion, these ideas became dangerous abstractions. Pol Pot did not see people, he saw categories. He saw enemies where there were neighbors. When he returned to Cambodia, Salot Sar brought him a vision of absolute social purification. He believed Cambodia could return to a mythical agrarian past, one without cities, without money, without religion, without foreign influence, and without individuality. In this vision, the educated were corrupt. Intellectuals were enemies. Anyone who questioned authority was a traitor. Even wearing glasses could be interpreted as evidence of disloyalty. The Khmer Rouge rose in the chaos of regional war. During the Vietnam War, Cambodia was officially neutral, but in reality it became a battlefield. The United States conducted extensive bombing campaigns along Cambodia's eastern border, targeting Vietnamese communist forces. These bombings killed tens of thousands of civilians and displaced many more. Entire villages were destroyed. For many Cambodians, the sky itself became a source of terror. These bombings did not create the Khmer Rouge, but they strengthened them. They fueled anger, resentment, and desperation. They made extremist promises sound like salvation. America did not intend to empower Pol Pot, but its actions destabilized Cambodia in ways that allowed him to rise. At the same time, the Vietnamese communists, both North and later unified Vietnam, played a complex role. Early on, they supported the Khmer Rouge as a fellow communist movement, providing training and resources. But Pol Pot's ideology was intensely nationalist and deeply paranoid. He feared Vietnamese influence. He believed Cambodia needed to purify itself not only of internal enemies, but of external ones as well. This paranoia would later lead to border massacres and ultimately provoke Vietnam's invasion in 1979, which ended the Khmer Rouge regime. In April of 1975, the Khmer Rouge marched onto Phnom Penh. They were welcomed at first at the nation's capital, but a population exhausted by war, within hours the city was emptied. Hospitals were evacuated, patients were forced from beds, children were separated from parents, the elderly were marched into the countryside, and the city was declared dead. This was year zero. Money was abolished, religion was banned, families were broken apart, children were taught to spy on their parents.